Oh, hello there. Yes. Well, it's Tuesday. It's still February. That's a metaphor for my life somewhere along the line. Anyway, yesterday we had the People's Forum, GB News, whereby public schoolboy Rishi Sunak was going to be grilled by members of the public on the TV show, filling in for Nigel Farage, the public schoolboy, who likes to occasionally have people in for a chat about stuff. Yes, indeed. Anyway, it was heavily heavily trailed by GB News. They even had a countdown clock, just in case you were sitting on the edge of your sofa, biting your nails in anticipation. Yes, indeed. But one of the things I was thinking of about that was not so much the whole, my God, really in the week when we had no by-election stuff, but it was to do with that whole thing about public school boys playing silly politics games with our lives, effectively. Reform UK, right? Okay, who are standing in the Wellingborough by-election and stumped up Ben Habib, public schoolboy. Okay, had their big guns out yesterday. They had Richard Tyson, Dr. David Bull, public schoolboys, obviously, who have their own shows on Talk TV where they'll often invite, people like Nigel Farage or maybe Ben Habib to have a chat about, well, presumably Reform UK. And, Richard Tyson's forever having chats with Reform UK on his show and occasionally invites on Dr. David Bull to also have chats, and often it's about Reform UK. Yes, which is nice, isn't it? I mean, it's not, that these people just simply see our lives as a playground for their little hobbies. That would be the wrong thing to think about. Except, of course, no matter no matter how many people get up and shout at Rishi Sunak about vaccines, right? On the People's Forum, he's still the one in charge, and he will walk away an even richer man than he was before, as indeed will Richard Tyson, Dr. David Bull, and Nigel Farage and Ben Habib. Meanwhile, the rest of us can just get on with it, because our only job once every few years to put a cross in the box that says Conservative or Conservative Light. And speaking of which, of course, we have the odd hoo-ha in the Rochdale by-election with Mr. Ali, who's the Labour candidate who got himself into a little bit of spot bother because of making comments about Israel. And as we well know, the Labour Party are going to come down like a ton of bricks on somebody that does anything that's even whiffs of anti-Semitism, because they have a very, very, very strict and robust disciplinary process, which the Lotto, leader of the opposition's head office, have promised they won't interfere with, except of course that's exactly what they've done, because the last thing they want at this very late stage is to have no candidate, because then we might have George Galway back in Parliament. I'm not a great fan of George Galway, but I would like to see him back in Parliament. He's quite fun to watch, to make the others squirm, and actually, strangely enough, doesn't fit into their particular worldview. But never mind that now. The odd thing, of course, which nobody has actually sort of managed to comment on, is the fact that we had the Green Party candidate whose name is on the ballot but had to stand down because of Islamophobia, because he was saying some iffy things about Muslims and the Quran and all that kind of stuff. He's had to stand down because, they actually do have a robust disciplinary process that they follow. Still, never mind. All the public schoolboys will no doubt be able to make sure that the game continues according to the rules that they have set. Rules that obviously Ofcom appear to have nothing to do with. Indeed. Farcical that we are treated with such a level of contempt by all of these people, and I wish a plague on all of their houses. Anyway, do have a lovely Tuesday. It's going to be damp for the rest of the week. I'm not quite sure if that's a good or a bad thing. It's a bad thing. There we go.